All right, well, good evening, everybody. We're going to get started here. My name is Kevin Ross. If we haven't met yet, I am the district chair for the Pacific Northwest District, and we are going to talk about Oregon City's district event tonight. We're hoping to be joined by Ginger Redlinger, who is our site host. I'm keeping an eye out for her on the list. Hopefully she. We had a couple of issues, as you may have seen, with the meeting invitations tonight, so we apologize for that and for any confusion. But off we go. We're going to have a pretty quick briefing here. So I'm also on the line is Adrienne Riney. She is the program manager for Washington First Robotics, and Brenda Troisi, who's the chair for the Portland Regional Championship, and also I think you're the volunteer coordinator for this event, aren't you?
Yes.
Absolutely. So between the three of us, I'm sure we will muddle through this quite nicely. We're going to go as quick as we can. Due to the number of people on the call, everybody's going to be muted, but you are more than welcome to type questions into the question box. We will do our best to answer them as quickly as we can. And if you do end up with questions, there's a little raise your hand button that you can press, and we'd be happy to take a look and see who's got questions. So I will sort these by people asking questions. Okay, there we go. So the slides will be available up on the Washington First Robotics website, and I will get to show you where that is going to be here in just a few minutes. Okay, the overview for tonight's briefing is the first 8 or 10 slides are going to be very event-specific about Oregon City, and we'll be talking about how to arrive and parking and buses and food and those sorts of things. The last set of slides will be about general information about the event and a walkthrough of the event and a walkthrough of the timeline of the event. If you've already seen one of the other briefings from either Glacier Peak or Auburn Mountain View, it's going to be pretty much the same material. We will not be offended if you drop off after you hear about the details. If you have not attended any of those other briefings, there's some very important information. Things are different in the district model. They're different than what you're expecting, so please try and bear with us, and we really appreciate it. So with that, let me continue on. Adrienne, can you keep an eye on the questions list and see if you can answer for him? Thank you so very much. All right. First of all, before you arrive at the event, in fact, you should be thinking about doing this in the next day, or you can do it right away. We need you to check in with us and let us know a little bit of information about you and your team. Specifically, you need to tell us if you need a pit table. Pit tables cost us money to rent, and it turns out that a lot of teams don't actually want a pit table. They have their own. So we're trying to be budget-minded, and so if we are by default not giving you a pit table, if you need one, you're going to need to tell us that you do. We also need you to acknowledge that you have 3-inch diameter or larger wheels. We'll get to that quite a bit in detail a little bit later. We'd also like to know how many students and mentors you're planning on bringing, and just kind of give us a feel for what to expect. And also a mobile phone number for the person who's the main contact for your team. We would appreciate it if you could go to our website, www.firstwa.org. If you're unable to grab that link, let me show you where that is. This is it here. This is the page. You go to the FRC menu. You come down to district model and to check in. And this is the page where we'd like you to just fill in this brief form. You'll need to do this for each of the events that you're going to this year. So you should do this at least twice, if not 3 times. Just let us know what's going on. If you'd like, I also just pasted the link to this page in the chat window if you're trying not to type it all in, or if you're feeling especially lazy. So there you go. You can click on that. Feel free to fill it out while I'm talking. I won't mind. But please do this before the 26th, which is a week from yesterday or next Wednesday. We really need to know by next Wednesday so we can order the appropriate supplies for you. All right. Enough of that. Also, I guess, before I get to that, let me also point out that there is a page on the Washington First Robotics website, District Model. If you come down, you can find the Oregon City District event, week number 2. And on this page, you will find the public schedule and the address of where you're going. And also, very important, the link to the slides and a recording of this video are going to be posted down here at the bottom soon after we're done tonight. All right. So that's where, if you need to go back and refer to something, that's where you're going to find all this information. Where are we going? That's always a big one. If you're not familiar with Oregon City is a lovely little town a bit south and a bit east of Portland. And so there it is in relation to a bunch of other stuff. We are going to the old Oregon City High School campus. It's also called the Jackson campus. So if you're headed for Oregon City High School, you're going to the wrong place. We'd appreciate it if you wouldn't go there. You need to go to 1306 12th Street in Oregon City, Oregon. So there was a little bit of confusion about that early on. More specifically, oh, Ginger's here. Yay, I'm going to unmute Ginger. Ginger Redlinger is our dear friend from Oregon City, and I'm going to make her a panelist. And there we go. And if I come in here, Ginger, wait, now you're unmuted. Hi, Ginger.
Oh, hello. Technical difficulties here at home. Sorry about that, but I'm online now.
No worries. We're just getting started. No, not a problem.
Phew.
Okay, I'll let you run your own mute button if you'd like.
All right.
And so Ginger is going to feel free to jump in here at any point that I manage to screw up some details. It's hard to keep all this in one brain, especially mine, little brain damage thing. So anyway, this is the Jackson campus. Just a quick tour of where things are. I'll do it in yellow this time. So this building over here is the gym. That is where we're going to be playing the game, that yellow guy. The pits are right here just adjacent to the gym. So all of the pits will be in there. It'll be nice and cozy, but it'll be actually fairly roomy compared to a couple of our other venues. So that's really great. And we will end up with a machine shop. It's going to be located sort of out here in this parking area. And you'll see that when we show up. So those are sort of the 3 main areas that we will be inhabiting. So that is well, I guess probably the 5,000-foot view, literally. Let's talk about arriving. So we'd like you to show up at 5 o'clock. Please don't arrive before about 4:30. We just aren't ready for you. Somebody said that, are you getting the updates?
I'm getting the updates.
Sorry, Bruce. I apologize about that. The rest of us are getting the slide updates, I believe. Hopefully it will come down for you soon. I don't know what to say. When you come to load in at 4:30, there's a couple of avenues for you to get into the building. First of all, if you're bringing just stuff that you can carry by hand, or students, we'd appreciate it. You might consider just going across the street, across Jackson Street here, and parking and hand carrying, or if you've got some small carts or whatever, just bringing stuff over from there. If you've got the heavy loads and the trailers and those sorts of things, we're going to have you come around, come down 12th Street, and you will eventually come around the back side of the building. We're going to load up a fairly limited number of spaces down here. We probably get 3 or 4 vehicles being unloaded back here at a time. if you end up needing to queue up in order to get in there, we're going to ask that you not block off 12th Street. Rather, you come down 12th and take a left on Magic Street here. I don't know what street number this is. I apologize. I should have looked.
This is Ginger.
Hi, Ginger.
Okay, and I'll help you out with that. That's Van Buren Street. And the entrance to the parking lot to queue up is right there on the corner of 12th and Van Buren. So you pull in right where your yellow dot is, right there, and then you can queue up to the right. And then the exit is right where the arrow crosses the street and goes up Harrison. So that would be a great place to queue. We can just signal you right across the street and into the queue line.
Yep. And we will have some outstanding volunteers out there to help you out. If when you arrive and you need to do the trailer trick, we'll have people out there helping to direct traffic. Please follow their instructions. We have a plan for getting you in and out of the building both efficiently and safely. And if you end up inventing your own, you're more than likely just going to mess up everybody else's evening. So really appreciate your doing that. Pits will not open until 5 o'clock, which is a happy thing for everybody. We are setting up the room until 5 p.m. So even if you find an interesting way to get into the building or an unlocked door, we really aren't ready for you until 5. We will very graciously and sternly remind you that the pits aren't open and ask you to wait outside. So you can shortcut all of that by just staying outside until we let you in at 5 p.m. All right, hopefully that makes sense. If you have, you may stop along Jackson Street. There is some parking here. We'd appreciate it if you didn't use that for your parking for the evening. But if you wanted to pull up alongside the curb on Jackson Street and obey all of the traffic laws, that is a public street, not a parking lot street. So parking laws apply there, and we have no. If you get a ticket, we can't do anything for you. But you could unload onto the sidewalk. Have your students come up. There's a fence down here along Jackson Street, and you can come up here to enter the pits here. It turns out that there are double doors. The double doors, the center posts do not come out, so you may have troubles getting wide loads through. And so if you do have an especially wide load, we'll need to take you in through the side doors. Okay?
Hey, Kevin?
Yeah.
Can Ginger talk about the difference between robot and pit materials here?
Yes, I can. I would like to point out that the blue arrow and the yellow arrow represent two different unloading spots. The blue arrow is the area where the robot should be unloaded. That is the entrance to the pit area where you will queue up for inspection and paperwork. The queuing line for the robots is inside, and you will go down the hallway and around the corner waiting your turn to be allowed into the pit after you've checked in with your robot. The yellow line is the pit entrance for tools and tables and setups and things, not related to the robot. So make sure that 2 of your team members can take your robot and enter that gate and go into the hallway and then get in the line to have your robot checked in. And the rest of your team can unload quickly at the yellow entrance, which is right into the pit area, and start setting that up.
And how wide is that gate that the robot has to go through, Ginger?
The yellow door is double wide open, so it's wide enough. And the gate, the blue gate, is a little wider. Things can come through there, but the door inside, where the blue dot is a regulation size. So nothing bigger than the robot can get through the door at that check-in zone.
And so we will only be allowing robots, the paperwork, and your 45 pounds in the blue door. The yellow door, everything else has to go through, and you will not be allowed with the wrong thing through the wrong door.
In other words, follow the directions of the site on staff when you get there, in case that's probably the best thing to do. And we'll talk about the 45 pounds here in a little bit. I'll give you a preview. If you're bringing 45 pounds of withholdings with you, you've made an error. I'll tell you why soon. But yes, there are some definite restrictions on getting into the building. So the on-site staff will help direct you if you have any questions about which direction you're supposed to go. Okay? How's that sound? Ginger, you good?
Yes.
Okay. So parking is, there are two fairly good-sized parking lots available. There's across the street in Jackson, there's a fairly large parking lot, and then there's parking over by the football stadium. Having said that, there isn't a huge amount of parking. You are also allowed to park out on the street in legal ways, however that happens. You do not have carte blanche, and being a first member doesn't really give us any special powers to grant you parking access that is beyond what the police would find legal. So you could get ticketed or towed, and if that happens, I'm really sorry to hear about that, but there's nothing that we can do to help you. That is way, way outside our ability to do anything for. So park legally where you can. Do not park illegally. Do not park on the grass. The baseball field is not a parking area. In fact, I think there's a good fence around it. And please don't park behind the building blocking access, because that is a fire lane and we need to leave it open. Okay.
Is there a spot for trailers, Kevin, trailer storage?
That is a great question. We'll get to that here in just a sec. All right. Trailer parking. Yes, there it is. So if you need to do parking in the trailer, we prefer that you use the stadium parking. Stadium parking is this lot over here. There are some double spots over here. If you can use one, great. Do not pull in and like park across 6 parking stalls. It just is bad form. We'd really appreciate you're not doing that. You will consume all of the parking very quickly. So the parking is limited for trailers. We should be fine on Thursday. We should probably be fine on Saturday as well. There are lots of streets around here you may be able to find parking for longer vehicles. So hopefully that made sense. We'd appreciate your using the stadium lot rather than the Jackson lot for trailer parking. Okay. All right. And I can't get my mouse to show. There it is. Found it again. All right. Let's see. Come on, slides. There we go. If bus transportation, so we'd appreciate if you didn't park along Jackson, because that's where we're hoping to drop off the buses. So if I go back a little bit, one more time, sorry about all the scrolling. We were anticipating that on Jackson Street here, this curb lane would be a perfectly fine spot for you to drop buses. So we just appreciate it if possible. Please don't park on Jackson. That'll allow the buses a good opportunity to offload. So
can you point out the front door, Kevin, where the front door is by the J?
The front door to the gym?
Yes, to the buildings, right where your little yellow cursor is.
Yes. So this is the front door. That's where the spectators are coming in, right?
Yes.
So that leads into a lovely hallway which goes straight into the gym, so that's where we're expecting a vast majority of people to enter from, all the spectators and such. All right, off we go. So we don't really have on-site bus parking, so your bus driver will have to make alternate arrangements. They're professionals. They do this all the time. They know what to do. They usually go find a Safeway or something and have a bus driver powwow. Probably actually a lot of fun, but I've never actually been to one. Logistics. Ginger, we've got concessions on Friday and Saturday. Is that correct?
That's correct. There will be small snacks and some beverages. We're hoping that Dutch Brothers is going to bring a cart and bring it in for people to get caffeinated beverages. You are allowed to eat in the cafeteria, and you can, like the slide says, you can tailgate outside. We want you to enjoy the experience as much as possible. We have catering available. I'll put that information up on the website for you tomorrow. It's $10.50 per box lunch, and it's pretty inclusive. It has cookies and fruit and all sorts of things, and water included. Just need you to clean up after yourselves, and we'll all be good. The next slide has more information about where you can get some things as well. We just launched a new app in the city called OC Biz. It's for both platforms. And in the business menu, you can look up any type of business that you want, and it will show you where it is and give you information about the site and the phone number. And I also have a piece of paper for every team when you arrive, and I will post it on the site as well, that tells you the exact drive time from our location to the businesses that you're interested in getting food or beverages or grocery store or hospital or whatever is needed. Hopefully we won't need a hospital, but everything will be there for you to refer to when you need it.
Outstanding. All right. So that sort of covers the food department. And just we said there isn't a cafeteria. That's actually where the pits are. So you are allowed to eat in the pits. The pits are outside, or there's actually a fair amount of hallway space. Now, I forgot to mention that I think I may have forgotten to mention that there is a school in the building. It's a small, what would you call it, Ginger?
It's a preschool. It's a preschool program, and there won't be any children in there on Friday, but the teachers will be in there working. But they know to expect the word robot to be said loud and to be said often, and they know what's going on.
Yep. Okay. All right. So the other thing that we need to talk to, let's talk about pit power. This is one of the few venues that we have house power, which means that we're going to be using the circuits that are in the cafeteria. There are enough of them. However, there are limits to how much power we can suck out of them. It turns out to be pretty much the same as our generator. So the power is still limited. There are going to be about 5 to 6 teams on each 20 amp circuit. And actually some of the equipment is actually only rated for 15 amps, so you should be planning on somewhere around 400 watts max. The way that we're going to administer this is that if your power alliance, which will be the 5 teams that are sharing that 20 amp circuit with you, if you guys blow your breaker, it's going to be up to the 5 of you to work out who's being nasty and who's being nice. So unlike events that we've had in the past where, like Seattle, for example, if you've ever been to Seattle, we had the 100 teams in the pits. The pit power cost us $22,300 for the 3 days we were there. We don't have that kind of budget. So power is limited. Don't worry about it. We've done these events a lot of times. You don't usually use as much power as you think. However, we will tell you that if you're planning on going over about 400 watts, you'll need to work that out with your neighbors to make sure that not all of you go over 400 watts, or you will pop a circuit breaker. If you do pop a circuit breaker, you will need to go tell pit admin right away, and we will go into the electrical room and flip it back on for you. And we will also present your alliance with a kilowatt power meter, and you can go figure out who's sucking down all the juice. Don't plan on bringing compressors and multi-horsepower drills and arc welders and those sorts of things. There just is not power for that. You may not bring your own generator. That was suggested by a couple of people. No, you're not allowed. One of the biggest consumers is actually lighting. We recommend compact fluorescent or LED lighting. Make it very low wattage. LED lights are actually amazingly bright for how little power they use. If you've got big flat panel displays and too much lighting, we highly recommend that you save that for the Portland event. When you make it to district championships, you can use up your full 10 amps there. Now, the other important one, and this one we're going to be really kind of ugly about, high school gyms do not have enough power in them. They never do. This one's no exception. There are two 20-amp circuits that we are using in the main gym, and those are completely dedicated to the field electronics, which requires about 13 amps, and the audio-visual system, which consumes probably about 16, 17 amps. We need both of those 20-amp circuits. We will not allow you to plug anything in. If we find something plugged in, whether it be anything from a cell phone charger, a laptop, or a battery charger, we will confiscate the equipment and we'll give it back to you on Saturday night after the pits close. So we're going to be stinkers about this, so you've been warned. Do us a favor. Just don't plug anything in the main gym. All right. Thank you for your gracious professionalism on that one. We really appreciate it. So let's talk about the schedule for this event. This is different than the events that you've been to in the past. Thursday is a very different day from what you're used to. So the entire goal of Thursday is for you to arrive and pass inspection. It is not final build day. Unlike other events where you show up at 8 a.m. and you have to pass inspection by 8 p.m., here you're showing up at 5 and you have to pass inspection by 10. Okay, so you have something called robot access period. You get a total of 6 hours the week before, 6 luxurious hours that you can open your robot up, work on it in the comfort of your own shop, put on your 45 pounds, and do whatever it is that you need to do to get your robot ready for inspection. If you are planning on showing up at this event with 45 pounds of withholded materials, you have made an enormous mistake because there is not enough time for you to really deal with that on site. That time that you should have, the time that is normally allocated for you to work on your robot on Thursday is part of your robot access period. You should be doing that at home. All right? So you've been warned. You are coming in to pass inspection. It is different. I'm going to belabor the bejeebus out of this point, so you'll get used to it. Friday, we're going to run qualification matches pretty much all day. Between Friday and Saturday, you will be running 12 qualification rounds. So in other words, you get to play 12 times. It'll be a lot of fun. These are smaller events. This is a 35 team event, we believe. And with 35 teams, you can expect to be running somewhere on average every 4 to 5 matches, which means about every 25 minutes you're up. These move very quickly. We know, we get it, we've thought of you. We're going to start in the morning. There's going to be a break at 1 o'clock to 1:30. You get a whole half-hour break. There's going to be another break around 4:30. So we will give you a couple of half-hour breaks so that you can sort of catch your breath and to make any major repairs. But having said that, you are up very quickly. So reliability is going to be pretty important on this one. All right. Saturday, if you've been to an FRC event before, Saturday is going to run just like an FRC event that you're used to. Jason's asking an extremely valid question, and what's the point of waiting in line an hour for inspection when we could be working on the robot? Do you have enough inspectors to make the line move quickly? We are when you get on site, you can go ahead and go to your pits and set up. we'll deal with that on site. Basically, we will make sure that your time is used efficiently for inspections. So, but you've only got 5 hours. So if you're planning on working on your robot, like I said, you've made an error. You should have been working on your robot at home. Okay. So keep that in mind. This is not come and work on your robot time. That happens at home. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Hopefully that made a little bit of sense. All right. We'll get to a lot of that later. When you come to load in, come on, mouse. Oh, my slides have stopped. There we go. When you come to load in, you are required to wear safety glasses. You will not be allowed into the pits without them. You need to provide your own safety glasses. That is standard first rules. Be sure to follow all instructions from the staff. And you may not park in the loading and drop-off area. You're going to drop your stuff off. You do not leave your vehicle unattended. So you need to staff your vehicle appropriately for people to be able to unload it and for your driver to drive away immediately. We're not there to let you park there while you take things into the pits. You need to bring a cart, and we're going to nail you with this again. Your cart needs to have at least 3-inch diameter wheels, and not only your cart, but everything that rolls. If you have anything on wheels, it needs 3-inch diameter or larger wheels. And we're going to have a slide on that later, so I won't belabor it. And once again, your entire first and only goal on Thursday is to pass inspection. All right? So Saturday loadout is going to basically be the inverse. Again, you don't park in the loadout area on your way out the door, and loadout during the elimination rounds is fine. If you want to, if your team is done for the day, you are welcome to go ahead and load out while the elimination rounds are running. Okay. Wheel requirements. So all of our venues are using something called a yellow jacket. A yellow jacket is a cord cover. It allows us to run multiple cords so that you guys don't trip on them. They are 2 inches tall. They are ramped. However, they're about 2 inches tall. They're about 10 inches wide, and there's about a 30-degree ramp on both sides. You must have 3-inch diameter wheels to make it over this thing. We've seen people try it with lesser wheels, and it just goes badly. If you have less than about 2.5-inch wheels, you're likely just going to dump your cart over. All right. All of my carts have 4-inch wheels. They negotiate it just splendidly. All right. So really important, and we are going to enforce this. If you're trying to wheel something in that has little tiny wheels on it, we are going to turn it around and put it back in your car. No exceptions. Your wheels must be in good working order. We don't want any damaged or stuck wheels. So you got a couple of weeks to fine-tune all of your cart situations and make sure that you're going to do this. There is a maximum weight, which is quite generous, but there is a maximum weight. The maximum weight is 50 pounds per inch of wheel size. So if you have 4 3-inch wheels on a cart, those are 3 times 50, turns out to be somewhere around 100 and, oh, I see. 4 times 50 is 200 times 3 inches is 600. There you go. So that's how you get to 600 pounds. We're not going to be checking that terribly carefully. We're kind of hoping that you will take care of that. But if we see you requiring 6 people to push your cart up a little ramp, or if it just feels too heavy, we may end up weighing it on you. Okay. Under no circumstances do we allow less than 3-inch wheels, so we're not going to do that. And we want your wheels to be of a soft rubber, not really soft rubber, but of a rubbery or elastic material. No steel wheels, no glider. What do they call those? No slanted wheels or sharp wheels or steel treads. Okay, very important. We are on somebody's basketball court here. Let's not screw it up. One more time, Thursday is all about inspection. Be sure and ask for help if you need it, but your goal is to pass inspection. I have a couple of redundant slides in here. I apologize about that, so I'm going to skip over those. In general, something to consider with all the district model events, and it applies to every event that you're going to go to. These are smaller events. We are there for less time. We have less space for you to be there for less time. Think about maybe doing a little bit less better. So do a good job at less stuff, okay? So, you know, if you can reduce your setup time a bit by, you know, omitting some stuff. Now, bring your pits. We love to see the decorated pits. We love to see all that sort of stuff. But I'll let you gauge whether it's going to be too much to handle, right? Because the time is limited, and so if you could pare your pits down a little bit without, but still give us the flavor of your team and all of the exciting things that your team does, I think you'll be in good shape, okay? Maybe you save the really big pit displays for Portland. For the championships and for world championships. Okay, the room here is a little smaller than what you're used to. It's going to be pretty tight quarters in the pits. So just saying. All right. When you you know, and actually, did I talk about Thursday? I can't remember. I have a slide on Thursday, right? No.
You already.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
We already talked about load-in. Oh,
there it is. Thursday. Sorry, it was the next slide. All right. Your lead mentor needs to check in at 5 p.m. And so you need to bring your TIMS roster, your STIMS roster, and any consent forms that are needed outside of that. We really appreciate that. Check in right away at 5 p.m. so that we know you're there. There are only there's 36 teams or so. It really isn't going to take you very long to get through that line. It'll be a pretty short line. Come on.
Do you do that, Tim, those consent forms only the first event?
Yeah, if people only need to sign the consent form once, we are going to ask you to bring the TIMS form, the roster each time, just print it out at TIMS. But if you got people who have already done the paper version of it, just be honest with us and tell us that happened, and we don't need to collect them on your second event. Okay. All right, let's talk about who to bring on Thursday. You definitely want to bring your drivers and your core robot builders and mentors. They're needed for passing inspection and doing all those sorts of things. Depending on your team's logistics, you may not want to bring everybody. Honestly, from 5 to 10, we're setting up in the gym. We're setting up the field for Friday. There isn't actually a whole lot for the entire team to do. They are welcome to come. If you've got students that would like to come help us set up and be part of field assembly, we'd love to see them. Honestly, we're not trying to turn anybody away. On the other hand, there's not going to be a whole lot for them to do. There really isn't going to be anything happening in the gym, so we're going to end up cramming everybody into the pits. The gym will be open and people can go sit, but really you're going to be watching a bunch of guys put together a field. It's interesting, it's fun, but there's no music playing. I mean, it's not a really exciting place for your team to be. So it's just not really a good spectator day. Think about that. You can make a decision for yourself. We were hoping to make these events as lightweight as possible. It's less people for you to feed and transport. If you're traveling and you're bringing your team anyway, we welcome them. We'd love to see them. If you're local and you don't need to bring, all 80 kids on your team, it might be a good thing to leave maybe, 65 or 70 of them at home. All right. Come on, slides. There we go. Veteran teams, we'd really appreciate it if you bring some spare parts and bumper material. That's usually the one that gets people into trouble the most. If you've got any unused sensors or motors or control units that you'd be willing to loan people, we'd appreciate you bringing that. We've got spare parts on site, standard spare parts box for first, but that spare parts box has to last us for 6 weeks. And that's quite a burden to put on it. We do not get it restocked, so anything we can do to minimize our impact on that box is greatly appreciated by everybody. A lot of teams always need help with programming, so if you've got somebody that is able to help out with that, we appreciate it. we will have the Pacific Northwest first robotics machine shop trailer, same one that you would normally see in at the Portland Championships. That will be on site. Again, it has we'll have some volunteer machinists in there. So if it's got a small mill, lathe, and some various other tools. All of those tools are for use only by the volunteers. Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
sorry, that one.
The
right here. We're short on machine shop staff.
Yeah, we are short. So we have. Sorry about that. We were looking something up real quick before I got it wrong. So only authorized people can use it. Please don't expect to show up and have them build you an automatic transmission. I mean, really, that's not what the machine shop is designed for. So don't expect them to be able to spend 6 hours doing some intricate machining work for you. It's just not the right use of their time. Their goal is to help you get out there and on the field. They will probably suggest some sort of workaround for you, but please don't dominate these people's time. There are other teams needing to use it. We will have a welder on site. Really appreciate it. If you've got somebody who knows how to TIG weld really, really well, we're looking for some volunteers with the machine shop staff. Specifically on Thursday and Friday, we could use 1 or 2 additional people. So if you've got a mentor or some other people that would like to help out in the machine shop, you can visit our website and we'll be posting a link to that. In fact, I'm going to put it in the chat window right now, or Adrian will. Adrian in the chat window is going to put the link to where you can volunteer to help out in the machine shop. We really appreciate that. All right, and of course the machine shop will not loan you any tools. Those so don't ask. They're going to politely say no. All right. Inspection on Thursday. There are 4 steps to it. You need to get sized and weighed in. We need to do a control system inspection at the CSA station. That's also probably where we'll do the WPA key assignments. There's a physical robot inspection at your pit. You can sign up for that anytime after 5 p.m. And then we really need you to connect to the field at least once on Friday morning. That's really important. There's a lot of software issues that can be fixed, but sometimes they take a great deal of time to fix. Nothing complicated, but you have to reflash things and do whatever. So
Kevin?
Yes.
That is actually scheduled for Thursday evening. The FTA wants everybody to be out on the field between 8 and 9 to do their field connect.
Yes, at least once by Friday morning. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the other key thing is the inspectors. They are your friends. Don't be afraid of the inspectors. They're there to help. They will get you out there. They want to get you out on the field as quickly as they can. So if you're feeling sheepish about getting inspection or feel like you're having to fix a bunch of stuff beforehand, don't. Just get inspected right away. They'll tell you all the issues you need to fix. You also, all of your lead mentors should have gotten in the inspection list. I sent it out in email last week. I highly recommend you guys go through that during your own time. Okay. Did I talk about robot access period yet? I didn't, did I? Okay, so let's talk. I'm going to take a little breather here and talk for a minute about the robot access period. You should read the rules on this so that you understand them. You are allowed to take your robot out of the bag for a total of 6 hours, and there are some rules about that. You need to read up. You basically get to do it in 2-hour blocks, 2-hour minimum blocks. Okay, so this is the time that you will be working on your robot. During that robot access period is when you're going to put on those 45 pounds of withholding. If you're bringing those 45 pounds of withholding with you to this event, you are making an enormous error. That isn't why you're coming here. You're coming here to pass inspection and play. Okay, so think about that very carefully as you're planning out the next couple of weeks. Is when you go to access your robot, that is the time when you're putting on your 45 pounds. Now, you're still allowed to bring 45 pounds of withholdings in addition to your robot. However, you've made a serious error if you're thinking that you're going to be able to do a whole lot of work on the robot on Thursday. There just is not time for that. That's why the robot access period exists. So when you check the rules, look in the administrative manual about robot transportation, and somewhere in there you're going to find a section about going to two-day events. You are going to a two-day event. The two-day event allows you to access your robot for those 6 hours. Read the rules carefully and understand them. There was a recent update to them. They are now allowing you to take it out for a 30-minute period and put it back in the bag, and then you get you can use the remainder in the other 2 access periods. You can't exceed more than 6 hours total for the 30 minutes and the other 2 blocks of time that you choose to use. That should be done in the comfort of your own home or your own shop, okay? Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. This is different than what we've done in the past, definitely different than what we've done in the past. So it is a change for all of us.
If they want to use their competition part.
Actually, they changed the rules. All right, so new this year, and actually somebody had to point this out, and I had to go look it up. If you look in the rules, it turns out that you are allowed to remove your robot from the bag to do a demonstration, because we get asked this every year, and I've been asking for years for this, and first actually snuck that rule in and didn't tell anybody, because, of course, nobody here read their administrative manual, did you? So when you look in there, you can take your robot out of the bag for doing public demonstrations to like the school board and those sorts of things. You may not practice with the robot. You may not work on the robot. You may not modify the robot in any way. And then you have to sign back in and make a note of why it is that you had it out. It's not for extended periods. It does not count against your 6 hours. So you should definitely look into that. Jen is asking if the 6-hour period for robot access begins on Wednesday or Thursday. My understanding is that it begins on Thursday. I'm telling you that, but I'm going to let you go read the rules and check for yourself. Okay, so all right. I think that was the end of the questions. Any other questions on that? I don't think so. Okay.
I don't see any other questions.
All right. And I apologize. I modified this slide deck and I left some extra stuff in it, and so I'm skipping over a couple of slides now and then. All right. And in fact, that's one of them. Now, the other thing is. We already talked about that. So it's really rare for your robot to pass inspection the first time. Get yourself in the queue early. It's really important you do that. Almost every team the first time is going to have a couple of things to fix. If you wait until the end to do that, you're going to be unhappy. So get yourself inspected right away. All right? You do need to pass inspection to earn qualifying points. And actually, you need to pass inspection to get out on the practice field, on the official field for practice on Friday morning. We're not going to let you out unless you pass inspection. All right. WPA Key Assignment, that is something that you'll need to deal with. There's a kiosk for doing that. Read that in the rules. Make sure that you know how to do that. We will be having practice rounds on Friday. Oops. Yeah, okay. We will be having practice rounds on Friday. So that is your opportunity to go out and play on the real field. We'll probably only schedule one for you. These are smaller events and we don't have as much time. If you're unable to make a practice match, you can, at some point we are going to drag whatever state your robot is in out there and make it connect to the field. That will happen by 10 a.m. on Friday morning. So it is a mandatory step to make sure that you've connected to the field at least once. Our goal is to be able to start this process on Thursday night, but honestly, we're unable to tell you exactly when the field will be ready to go. We expect it to be relatively early, but we'll have to see what happens when we get there. Okay? All right. Any questions about that? We've got,
We had it.
oh, okay.
So good.
All right, good. So the practice rounds on Friday morning. Come on, computer. Whoops. Wow, it's going really slow. Okay, practice rounds are scheduled, and we'll probably start around 8:30 a.m. and it'll run till about 10:30 a.m. You're welcome to go out and give it a whirl. That should be plenty of time for everybody to go out and practice at least once. Will they be scheduled? Yeah, we'll probably try and schedule them, but honestly, nobody ever follows the schedule, even though we work hard to print one out. So there will be a line out there. You're welcome to go out and get in the line. First come, first serve. However, if somebody has coming out for their very first practice, they will always get priority. So if you've already practiced once, you will be very gracious and applaud the folks who haven't made it out on the field as they go out and take your spot. There will be the queue manager will be managing that. So there you go. And there's only a couple of slides left, and I'm going to belabor this one last time because a lot of people still don't get the message that Thursday is all about inspection. It's no longer final build day. So use that 6 hours really wisely, and please ask for help early if you need it. We really appreciate your helping us with that. On the end of Thursday, the pits are going to close at 10. You need to be out of the building at 10, which means that we will gently come and remind you about 9:45, and then about 9:55, we're going to come and hold your hand as you walk out the door. It's one of my favorite times of the day, but we really do need to be pretty hard-nosed about getting out of there at 10. Those are both rules for first, and also the volunteers are done and would like to go home. Can you watch the question box?
Yes, I'm.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry.
No worries.
I'm trying to answer a question. I have to answer it via email.
No worries. So, all right. That I'm not going to hold you any longer. Hopefully that was useful for you. If you have any questions, you can contact me, kevinro@firstwa.org. We'll be putting the, oh, I forgot to show you this stuff. Hang on a sec. There it is. Up here, FRC, district model, Oregon City, district model, where is it? There it is. This page, if you go find this page, the links, the slides will be up, and a link to this recorded session will be up there. Also, don't forget to come visit the district model check-in page as a lead mentor. Just come in, fill it out, tell us where you need a pit table. And that is all I have to say. Brenda and Ginger, is there anything that I missed that you would like me to bring up?
This is Brenda. We still have a need for some volunteers. If every team would provide even one mentor or parent, we would have more than enough volunteers.
Brenda, can you please put your email in the chat window, because I've had at least one person wanting some more specifics. So if you put your email down there, they'll know how to contact you.
Okay. And also the drivers meeting will be at 8:15 on Thursday night on the field. And load in, somebody was concerned about the inspection bottleneck. Inspection is not going to be the bottleneck. The bottleneck will be people getting offloaded out of their cars. So I want to reiterate Kevin's point about packing light, pack for fast unload, because we have a very small unloading area, and we want to get cars through there as quickly as possible. That's all.
Yay.
And I'd add that I am really excited that Oregon City has the chance to host, and that you are all coming, and we want to make this a great event, so thank you very much.
Absolutely, and thank you, Ginger and Brenda, for your amazing job. They are really, really organized and are doing an outstanding job of getting this all up and running. And this will be actually a really, really great event. All right, with that, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now.